So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Look away. Storm's coming, so you better start running. You can't control it. Our bones are covered. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I never kissed the rain. Ice runs in my veins. Won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? That's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I come to take it all. I take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storm's coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. Our bones are covered. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Tossing the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Passing the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I'm still the last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same.
All right, guys. Happy Monday, October 27th. I think we can get the Beyond Free Float message off of there now. Let me get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. But we're going to talk about Beyond, maybe very briefly, if you guys have questions. The play of the weekend, the play of the day was Strive, ASST. And I had put out a message maybe on Friday saying that if you had a bullish thesis for ASST to let me know so I could add that to my research. I did do a lot of research on Strive this weekend and decided not to make a video on it or even any real tweets. We talked about it in the Discord. I had a few people DM me on X and we talked about it. Just general questions. But Strive ended up having a beautiful run up today. I'll tell you why I sat out of the trade in just a minute when a few more people get in here. And I did put out a much longer DD due diligence piece on Strive this afternoon after the market closed. Maybe some thoughts in there that will be helpful to you in the coming days. Maybe just like the Beyond people last week. They'll say, Tony, stop with the facts. It's just FUD. We don't want to know all that stuff. We just want the price to go to $1,000. Tell us how quickly that can happen. Kenneth, what's up? He says, if Beyond drops below $1, is it still a good reentry point? Maybe, Kenneth. I have a couple of videos that I spent some time getting ready for today. And one of them is going to be the long-term valuation analysis of Beyond Meat. You guys know, if you follow my channel, I like well-known brands that get beaten down for some reason. And sometimes I'll go in and buy them, and I'm talking about buy them for a 1-year hold. But I also need to do my due diligence, my financial analysis. When it's a swing trade, we don't do so much financial analysis, right? But if you're thinking about holding something for a year, you better understand the financials, not just some hype from a dude on Reddit or Twitter. So I am going through the financials. I'm going through the upcoming proxy for the shareholder meeting on November 19th, I think it is, for Beyond. And you know, there's a lot of concerning things there. I'm not going to minimize it. And so your question is below $1 a good reentry point? Maybe. Depends on, you know, are you swing trading it? You just trying to get in for below $1 and hope it pops to $1.50, 50% move? Maybe so in a couple days. You know, there's going to be some point where Beyond gets so low that the shorts cover and push the price up a little bit. I'm not saying back to $8, but there'll be a bounce at some point. And there'll be a point that is so low that the bulls say time to pile back in. So that's one way to trade it. Try and time that bounce. I'm not smart enough to tell you when that will be. We'll know it when we see it on the chart. The other thing that I think we can figure out, though, you know, I'm still not perfect, but I think I can do a reasonable analysis of if I wanted to buy BYND and hold it for 6 months or a year to see if they can turn this thing around. What is my optimal entry where I can balance risk to reward? That is a video that will be coming out this week. And I think we got time. We got a few days because earnings is not till what, next week? And the vote is not till late November. So if you give me a day or two, I got GameStop people bugging me. When are you going to do the GameStop valuation video? Like, everything in its due course. Like, there's no rush on a GameStop valuation video because why? Why do you need it right now? What's going to happen in GameStop? But before the next earnings, nothing. And, you know, unless Ryan Cohen's got a surprise. I'm not going to clear my schedule to do a GameStop valuation for what? It's going to move when it gets closer to earnings. That's when the information is more vital. So for me right now, looking at the hot plays is a better use of time. We had 1,000% runner last week with Beyond Meat. What would you spend your time on? GameStop trading flat to make one guy happy with the fair value analysis, or try and help your Discord and your channel make 1,000% and then get out before it tanks? I know where my time is going to be spent. And same with ASST. Like, if there was a trade opportunity there that I felt comfortable with, I wanted to spend as much time as I needed to get comfortable with that. And I did try and go buy it in pre-market this morning. In overnight last night, I had no broker with available funds anyways that would let me buy it overnight. I don't know where the heck people were buying ASST last night. I would have bought some as soon as it started trading. But as I covered in the Discord early this morning, and then a little bit more in depth on a tweet this afternoon, there's a lot of moving parts with Strive that we don't normally need to think about. And that is things that you should be at least tangentially you should be aware of. If you're swing trading it, you need to know these roughly hard stops of what else is going on with the trade and with the institutions, with the warrants, so that you can factor that into your risk analysis of when to enter, when to get out, how high could it go. And just roughly from memory, maybe I can read off of the Discord here. What did I say about ASST? Baby UFO, how you doing? Tradewin says, I'm still up on Beyond. Should I sell? Average buy-in 110. Is this stock garbage I should dump, or does it have a chance of coming back? I never say never. Let's finish his question before we move on to ASST. I never say never, that a stock could never have a bounce. Is it likely to go back to 769, 885, whatever it went to? That is less likely. Trade win. Could you have a bounce from $1 to $2? Sure. $1.70 to $3? Sure. We see secondary bounces all the time on a lot of these tickers. But as we were saying on Fridays, today's Monday, right? Yeah, on Friday's wrap up, what I said is that not every time, but most of the time, when these fall far enough and they get their little second rally, it's brief and it is rarely all the way up to where the first one was. It'll be like, okay, we're down here at 90 cents. Let's rally to $1.50. Just a little bit of short covering, a little bit of bulls trying to take another stab at it. So I would never say this stock can't have a swift move up again. But how long are you willing to hold it going down to find that point? That's really the question. Is the stock garbage? That is another good question. They're losing money. They just did a recapitalization to wipe off a bunch of debt. The real question you need to have the answer to is, do you think the company's going to need to raise more cash? Because they have a vote coming up in a few weeks where they're trying to get more shares. And if they need more cash, they will use those shares. And I will have that video out in the next day or so, hopefully. Keith says, on Friday's live stream, I called out ASST. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, it got a lot of social media sentiment all weekend. A couple of y'all were calling it out last week. I briefly looked at it last week, and then I spent a lot more time looking at it this week. But there are some different things going on here. Like every trade has something different, right? And people say, why do you cover these stocks, Tony? These are just, absolute trash companies. Whatever they say, the bears. It's a pump and dump. Why are you covering it? Every one of these is a learning opportunity. This is not just something as simple as a pump and dump. There's pump and dumps every single day. Why do we focus on certain ones? There was a lot to be learned in Beyond about how convertible bondholders can get shares right away and drop them into the float, hundreds of millions of them, and how people can lie to themselves or lie to others that is not happening, and how you can get wrecked by believing these people. That is a learning opportunity that I would like to see you learn from and not ever repeat again. Understand these guys always have a way to get out from under their shares. And most people on social media have zero clue what they're talking about. They're going to tell you whatever you need to hear, whatever you want to hear, to make themselves money on a squeeze. So if you even want to call it a squeeze, B-Y-N-D. It was a beautiful run-up, whatever it was. Squeeze, FOMO, high frequency trading, doesn't matter to me. We saw the social media sentiment. We knew it was going to be a good play. It was a good play. But you had to have your head on a swivel. You had to be grounded in reality and not tuned into these yahoos, these dum-dums, as I call them, pumping out misinformation about BYND. And they're still doing it. They're still doing it. Platinum Sparkles, is this? Or I can get some Monday FUD. Yes. Facts you dislike, Platinum. I was having a little FUD discussion. Our friend Reese Politics over covering GameStop on X, he tweeted out the short interest on the GameStop warrants. Did you guys know that warrants could be shorted? Let me pull up this little chart here. And then we'll get to ASST. GME WS, right? Not GMW, GME WS. Yeah, there we go. Now, did you guys know that warrants could be shorted? Your answer is yes. I obviously knew warrants could be shorted, Tony, because you were telling us about that. You were telling us not to overpay, not to bid up, not to go crazy buying warrants when they were distributed because they could be shorted. You told us that for weeks before the warrants were distributed. Why did I tell you that? Was I trying to do FUD like Platinum is having a laugh there about? I was not trying to FUD anybody. I'm trying to help you make smarter trades. The people literally telling you that warrants can't be shorted are the misinformation chiefs out there. We did a whole live stream going over many examples of shortable warrants. So this should be no surprise to you that there are 2 million warrants shorted as of October 15th on GameStop. You bid the price up. It's basically a Black-Scholes formula for valuation of the warrants. You bid the price up. What is the capital markets going to do? What are institutions going to do? They're going to arb it right back down to a calculated fair value that everybody on Wall Street understands. That's why I want you to understand how warrant valuation is done. Very similar to the October 2026 $32 call. This warrant starts getting overvalued. They're going to go borrow it and sell it because they can make a quick buck because that price is not sustainable. The only way the warrant price should move up relative to, say, the call option would be if GameStop, the underlying ticker, is moving up. That's what we want. We want to see the ticker move up, then our options move up, then our warrants move up. And yes, I have been buying some extra warrants I don't hate the warrants. I just hate people that put out misinformation. It's a long-term call option, a warrant, really all it is. Shin Kyoku, howdy howdy. Baby says, I got the warrants at $2.50 and sold at $3. Easy money. Congratulations. I have not sold any warrants yet. I'm kind of taking a long-term view, a little bit of a gamble, a little bit of roll the dice with Ryan Cohen. That maybe he has something planned in the next year. And I really don't think, GameStop price is not likely to get walked down. There was someone in the warrant discussion was very mad at me for saying, he asked Reese Politics, he's like, how can warrants even be shorted? And I dropped a link to my video from a week. It was the T-7 video. Can warrants be shorted was the title. Imagine that, guys. I'm trying to give you answers to questions that you haven't even asked yet. Here we are, October 27th. And if this guy trusted me, if he watched the channel, he would have already known warrants could be shorted, how and why. He didn't like that I dropped the link to my video. He's like, I don't trust you. Tony, let me be very clear with you. You seem like a grifter. What was your price target for GameStop? Don't you know about the 500 million of earnings coming up? Let's be clear for those of you that don't watch my channel, because I know you only get your information from one person that lies to you about me on a daily basis, a GameStop YouTuber. He does not want you watching my channel. He doesn't want any sort of information being put out that is not from between his two lips. But allow me to point you to a couple of videos that are out there. There is a video out there, I think from 2022, where I said GameStop was headed to $10. Did anybody remember how low GameStop got? So this gentleman was asking me, didn't you have a $10, $12 price target for GameStop? It was 2023. Some point in here, I made a video that said GameStop is likely to hit $10. And I put my money where my mouth is. I bet owning the float, you guys might know him from YouTube. I said, let's bet a 6-pack or a case or something that GameStop will hit $10 by the end of the year. He said, no way. And I said, way. I'm looking at the price. I thought it was an end of year bet, but it must not have been end of year. Whatever the date was, I won the bet. It hit $9.95. I won it by 5 cents. Did that mean I hated GameStop? No. I've never hated GameStop. In fact, because of the dum-dums on the GameStop YouTube channels who keep lying to you guys, I've been slowly in the background compiling videos all the way from 2022 where I talked about how much I like GameStop, how much I like Ryan Cohen. But you don't ever get told that, do you? You don't know that I've been a fan of GameStop for a long time. What these dum-dums don't like over on the GameStop YouTube channels is I accurately called the price run down to $10 while they're telling you, keep buying, keep buying, keep buying. They don't want a voice of patience, of logic, of reason, of unemotion. They don't want a stoic trader. They need you hyped up. They need to grift off your emotion. They don't want you listening to me. So Mr. that got mad about what was my price target, just reading the chart, friend. Just reading the chart. And I was dead on. And you don't like that? Go cry in your mommy's skirt, you know? What's that got to do with me? If I'm wrong, then yeah, come back and laugh at me. But I fucking nailed it. I nailed it on the video and I nailed it on the vote with OTF. Does not mean that I hated GameStop. Just trying to apply some analysis, some logic, some common sense. And I've been long GameStop here for a long time now. For me, I bought a long position in the 21 range back in June, still sitting here. And I've been adding some warrants. I did buy in April and sold into the run up in May, and then bought again when it dropped back down. But I've just been sitting, slowly adding when it makes sense, adding some warrants. You know, these people don't even know that I'm long GameStop. They don't watch one single video, but they don't trust me because what? I analyze trades and shift my analysis and my message as things change at the company. GameStop now is completely different, much better than it was a year or two ago. But I never hated it. I just was honest. A lot of these people don't like honesty. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with honesty. So, to the gentleman, what was my price target? You're right. I had a bet that it was going to go to $10, and I was right. So what? What's your answer then? I hurt your feelings? Sorry. You should learn to trust people that are calling shit accurately, would be my first thought. Second of all, you don't watch me, and if you did, you would have already known. You wouldn't be asking Reese Politics, how can warrants be shorted? We were talking about it for weeks before the warrants were even distributed. I don't know. In my book, giving you information before you even have thought of the question is providing you real value. But I guess some of y'all like Rockets Tomorrow videos. You guys ever watch a YouTube channel where every video is, we rocket tomorrow? Up and to the right, every single fucking video. And meanwhile, what? We've been trading flat since June of 2024 now. That's just some nonsense. Every day now for what? A year and a half? These people have been lying to you? GameStop will move when they invest this cash pile. That's why I'm long right now. I'm long betting, hoping, praying, speculating, gambling, putting it all on black that Ryan Cohen invests that money. Invest that money, Ryan. Deliver us, Ryan. Deliver us. If he doesn't, then our fallback bet is improving margins and a marked turnaround in operating profits. That's my second line of defense. There is no failure here. GameStop's not going bankrupt. So what? What do we got to worry about? Ryan Cohen retires. Ryan Cohen decides to sell the company. Possible, but I'm not worried about that. Yes, I worry about everything, but these are very remote possibilities. Or the market crashes. I would be worried about that a little bit more. But I'm not going to blame GameStop if the market crashes and I lose money in GameStop. I'm going to lose money in everything I'm holding if the market crashes, including GameStop. GameStop will go down. Mark my words, if the market crashes. I know these blabbermouths are telling you GameStop will be the flight to safety. No, friends, it will not. That's just more grifter hopium. It's like a Bed Bath & Beyond investor got put in a GameStop YouTuber's body, and they're just repeating nonsense to you that anyone with common sense would know is not true. GameStop is not a flight to safety. There are plenty of companies with cash. But when things crash, even if GameStop crashes, it's not a bad company. The cash cushion they have provides an amazing optionality for them to do something cool in a better buying market. Maybe find a company that is now undervalued. So it doesn't matter what happened to GameStop's price. Doesn't matter what happens to GameStop's price in a market crash. Let it go down. It doesn't matter. Their cash is not going to change, and that is the lever right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you need to know. Cash is a lever. Yes, active. If the market crashes, GameStop has money to buy for a discount. That's a perfectly valid thesis and one I 100% get behind. Therefore, for me, that is some comfort. And I don't care if GameStop's price crashes in the market. Crash. Because they have cash to buy something else cheap. And then you just wait for the market to recover. To me, that's good calculus. That is reasonable risk to reward speculation. Elwin Dude says if RK tweets that he fell back in love with games, oh man, I can't believe some of the stuff he said, Elwin. And I've seen some of the social media like, hey, we got a CEO that doesn't even seem to like gaming. Like, what the hell are we doing here, bro? It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it was kind of shocking. But at the end of the day, I think he's just he's twisting knobs and pulling levers, trying to figure out, how do I take this brick and mortar company that was in really bad shape with a rabid fan base, a rabid shareholder base, and turn it into something profitable? And he's going to keep tweaking it till he figures it out. And he's made hella good progress. He's made hella good progress. And you don't hear me crying because I have not been buying every day at any price and holding. I've been swing trading GameStop. Buy it cheap, be very patient, sell into run-ups, go back to patient, let it come down, and rinse and repeat. I've been doing that for several years now. So I don't need to tell you rocket ship emoji charts, up and to the right. I don't need to tell you that nonsense. We have a very patient thesis, a very sound thesis for GameStop. And if it gets cheap enough, I add to my position. And if it gets overpriced, I'll unload some of that position. We're not a cult. We're not a cult, sir. We're looking to take care of ourselves, take care of our families, take care of our portfolios, and take care of each other. Everybody give each other a hug. Except the diamond hand people are going to be really mad at me. I get it, but I got people to take care of myself. These bills don't pay themselves, Scarlett says. Juan says he does not like GameStop. Closed around 590 stores. Yeah, but I mean, that's true, Juan. If you remember, and you probably don't, I put out a warning months before the store closures. In fact, I was told I was FUD. I was part of the cabal, part of the network. How dare Tony say GameStop's closing a fuck ton of stores in January, February of 2025. I started saying that, around Thanksgiving? I forget. The tweets are still out there. The videos are still up. I was told I was FUD, but why do I say that? Because why did I say that? Number one, in case there was any negative sentiment. Fortunately, there was not really any negative sentiment. Why was there no negative sentiment, Juan? Juan doesn't want to talk about this, but closing those stores, Juan, is actually a very good thing. In a way. Wall Street does not like declining revenues. I've been beating that drum for a long time, and I'm never going to change that message. This is a fact. Wall Street does not like declining revenues. They like a increasing revenue story. And maybe GameStop will get there. We need a few quarters of increasing revenues before I can tell you that story. But what they do like, Juan, is profits. What they do like is improving margins. And we're starting to see that as a result of Ryan Cohen being willing to throw it out the window, throw out the plane, whatever he needs to, throw it overboard. If it's not contributing margin, if it's weighing us down, if it's leaking, get rid of it. So close the stores. Who cares? I'd rather have a smaller business that is running profitably and at high margin than a bloated, massive brick and mortar behemoth that loses money every year. So close the stores. That's not a negative one. If he can turn it around. If you can just have profitable stores and then find the right product mix that increases margins. And for now, that's trading cards. And then you, what? Use that stability to pivot into something else. Selling trading cards online, partnerships with grading services. Who knows what's next? They're doing the right things is bottom line one. So yes, they're closing stores. Guess what? I'm telling you right now, there's going to be another, close your ears if you don't like FUD. There's going to be another large round of store closures in January, February this year coming up. Just letting you know now. Do I care? No. Juan says, GME has been stagnant on a downtrend for like 3 years. We're buying the dips and selling for profit. What do you think I'm doing, Juan? Can you see my trades here, Juan? Do I have the right screen up here? Juan. Oh, Juan's blind. Y'all are telling me in the chat he can't see. He's just listening. Juan, I have several years of swing trades here on GameStop. I buy when it's cheap. I sell into run-ups when it gets overvalued. Because why? Because GameStop has not turned the business around yet. This is not a buy and hold cult channel, One. I'm saying this out loud because I know they told me in the chat you can't see the trades on the screen. And apparently you've never been here before because the GameStop people hate me, One, because they say I'm a bear. Now Juan says I'm being too bullish. Like, you guys see the irony and the comedy of my life? On the one hand, you try and provide balanced middle of the road coverage. You got dum-dums saying you're a bear and you got dum-dums saying you're a pumper. From the same message. Like, literally, you guys are the ones bringing the bias to the channel. I'm just middle of the road, dude. I'm common sense, dude. You guys bring your negative bias here, your clown faces. Oh, he's a bear, he's a bull. That's your bias. That's a you problem. That's not a me problem. All the people that say, Tony's pumping Highcroft. And then I got people making videos saying, Tony's so bearish on Highcroft, he must be working for the shorts. Like the same videos. And then AMC, Tony's pumping AMC. And then at the same time, every AMC YouTuber is blocking me because they say I'm too bearish. Like, a lot of y'all got a bias problem with middle of the road coverage. And that's a you problem. And I ain't going nowhere because a lot of people want non-emotional, non-biased coverage. If a company's doing good or it gets undervalued, I don't care what it is. I'll buy it. If it gets overvalued, I'll sell it. If it looks like it's only truly going up and to the right on both revenues and profits, I will hold it. I get tired of preaching this, but I want the bulk of your portfolios to look like a blue chip portfolio. Companies which only have a very long history of growing profits and growing revenues and ideally pay a dividend. Not necessary, but that's a nice bonus. I bet most of you don't have a portfolio like that, where the majority of it is companies that only have revenue growing and only have profits growing. I want you to start shifting your money to that and then making these speculative trades, which keeps every day fun. Make them a small part of your portfolio. If you do them right, the speculative bets, you will make outsized gains. We had a chance to make 1,000% on Beyond. Did that mean I need to dump my whole portfolio into it? Hell to the no. I don't take risk like that. But I'll put a little bit on the line because overall, if I get enough of those winners, it juices the return of your overall portfolio. Slave King, thank you. Juan says that's literally something you have made. I'm not sure what Juan's talking about. You talking about my posting my buys and sells? Yeah. I post them in the Discord in the VIP when they happen, and then I put them on the chart here because a lot of times it's a long time between a buy and a sell. I can't remember. Or I want to go back and I don't want to look through 3 years of trading history on my broker or remember which broker the trades happen. So I put them up here. Wellington says professional bag holders don't like hearing facts. Some still waiting on AMC to hit 1 million per share. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. I had someone really, I think he really was trying to get me blocked by everybody on X today. He said, why, Tony, what do you think about AMC being 82% traded in the dark pool today? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of any ticker being 80+% traded off exchange. 40, 50, 60, almost everything is in that range. 82%, that's pretty high. But rather than get in the weeds and getting upset about that, I have learned to focus my time and my thoughts on why is this happening? What might I have missed? If you want to say they're manipulating the price, why are they so bold is not the right word, emboldened? Why do they feel like they can do that? And I've gone over these 3 or 4 points for many, many weeks now with AMC. Q3 is going to be a loss. It's going to be a cash burn. There's 2 points why they're suppressing the price by whatever means necessary, without fear, without trepidation. Q4 might not be as good as we hoped. I just had to reduce my forecast for Q4. And we have an upcoming shareholder vote with some requests to increase the shares outstanding, which some of those shares will immediately be given to convertible note holders, exchangeable notes at a steep discount. So I think you should spend more time asking why. Why are they doing this? And if you don't understand the why, if your only answer is it's manipulation, you haven't dug deep enough. I want you to go one more step further. Why are they manipulating it? When you can start to understand how the institutions feel emboldened to push a price down, you really get to the root of, you're getting really close to figuring out when might be a good time to get out or when might be a good time to buy. But if you can't think like them, you're always going to be chasing the dragon. Juan sounds like he got dropped on his head. He says Tony likes to tell you how he bought at the lowest point and sold at the tippy top. No. We just had a great example. I guess you weren't here, Juan, for that. Where I bought Beyond in pre-market Monday and then sold it on Tuesday way too early. It ran up to $8. I left more than half that run on the table. I don't always get it correct. Here back in May of 2024, I was a little bit smart. I only sold half my position at $60. I thought it could go higher. Just when I think I'm doing something right, Ryan Cohen comes out with some dilution and the next day it starts tanking. And so instead of selling all of my position close to the top, I ended up having to dump the rest at 48. That was my fault for being a little greedy. I was like, what if it keeps going, Tony? What if tomorrow's at 80? Sometimes you just can't win. You try and be smart, and the market always outsmarts you. here in May. I sold at 33.02. What did it go to? Went to 36 bucks. That's not the top. Could have made another 10%. We're not trying to time the top and bottom perfectly, Juan. We're trying to get reasonable entries and take reasonable exits. It just so happens the way that I do my charting and my analysis, turns out we're pretty good usually at knowing when things are turning around. Sounds like you're a little mad, Juan, because you're listening to someone who doesn't know how to guide you on that stuff. Maybe you're good enough. Maybe you can do it yourself. But if you're good at it, I don't know why you're getting mad at someone else that's pretty good at it. I'm not perfect. But if you're good at it, I applaud you. Let's celebrate each other's success. Make a channel and start teaching people, Juan. I'm here being honest and sharing my trades with you guys, whether they're good or bad, whether I call the top or bottom perfectly or not. I don't usually get them perfect, but we just aim to get close. And if you're doing better, Juan, please make a channel. I'll sub and I'll join your live streams and you can teach us. Andrew says it's sizzling down, concentrated flavor. What are we talking about? Speaking of sizzling down, Anya, I ordered some groceries and had them delivered today, and I forgot to put the goddamn Beyond Meat on the shopping list for HEB. So I guess I got to drive to the store tomorrow and go get them. We're going to do a taste test. All right, let's talk about ASST. I think we've given Juan more than enough attention. I know he thrives off of it. He's a little misguided, but we're not giving up on him yet. ASST, he sounds like he doesn't really watch the channel at all. He just regurgitates all the nonsense force fed down his throat by dipshit YouTubers on other channels. I guess lies must taste sweeter than honesty. ASST was up 49% today. Closed on Friday at what? $1.10. Closed today at $1.64. Here's what I came up with on ASST. They have warrants. They have a buttload of warrants, and they have traditional warrants, which we've been talking about a lot here in general, mostly because of GameStop, because I want to make sure you guys understand warrants. But we have even a new beast here, which is pre-funded warrants. And those are not uncommon, but they're uncommon in tickers that I trade. I'll say that. Pre-funded warrant is basically like they paid for it to give the money financing, make up a date. A year ago, 2 years ago, they prepaid for the warrants. And the value that they prepaid for was $1.35. To my understanding of pre-funded warrants, you could exercise them at any time because basically the exercise price is 0.0001 cents or something like that. But economically, you're going to be underwater if you exercise them under $1.35. You paid $1.35, let's say 2 years ago. The stock's trading at a buck. Why exercise the warrant? So what? You're going to sell it for a buck, then you're going to lose 35 cents of what you prepaid. So the economical, sensible play is turn in the warrants, execute the warrants after the stock price crosses $1.35, and then you could sell the stock at what, about a 22% gain today if you wanted. or you could exercise the warrants and hope that Strive, these are institutions, by the way, right? Big players that have these warrants. 177 million of them left by my count on the pre-funded warrants. You could exercise them and sell them for profit today, or you could exercise them and hold them thinking that the company's going to buy Bitcoin and Bitcoin price is going to go up and you're going to be rich. Maybe that happens too. So there's a couple options, but you should start. It would not surprise me to start seeing some conversion and the float going up due to these pre-funded warrants. 177 million. What is the float right now? 362 million. So that's a pretty substantial amount of shares. And the company's not going to make any new money because those warrants were paid for in times past. Zachary says, how do you short warrants? You find, for most retail traders, it's not going to be possible. For an institution, they have to search around for a prime broker that has warrants they're willing to lend. It's not as easy, it's not as practical, and it's not as common, but it is entirely possible. Typically not for retail folks. Getting back to Strive warrants. So we talked about the pre-funded warrants. All the discussion we've had about no exercise early does not apply to pre-funded warrants. Almost always they will be exercised early. I'm thinking about it, baby. He says, wind cigar. I think I've got a couple left in the humidor behind me. Are you smoking? Besides the pre-funded warrants, are we clear on pre-funded warrants? Besides the pre-funded warrants, they have traditional warrants, and now we're talking a bigger chunk, 555 million over at Strive, with a exercise price of $1.35. That means you got to pony up $1.35 to change these warrants into shares, which you could do now also. 555 million of them. But I'm going to just guess, based on all the talks we've had about no exercise early being the traditional way that warrants are thought about, that these 555 million warrants, I see the bears out there saying, this is a massive dilution coming. I mean, technically they're not wrong, but also technically smart money does not exercise warrants early. If they wanted to capture the profit, they could just sell the warrant. Hang on one second. All right. Just my cat tearing up a box. He likes to sleep in cardboard boxes, but he also likes to chew them up. So I'm thinking about these 555 million warrants of Strive, ASST, with the $1.35 strike. I'm thinking probably don't need to worry about immediate dilution with those, but they expire in September of 2026. So a year from now, maybe we got to worry about it. There is potential that some people will exercise them and convert them to shares and sell them. I'm not saying that that won't happen. It's just not the smart trade unless they can't sell them. I don't know. Juan says, at least you could come up with a different stock. Pumping the same. What? I'm not sure what stock I'm pumping, Juan. Let me guess. What? Let's put in the chat. What stock do you guys think Juan Gugu thinks I'm pumping? Let's see in the chat. What stock does Tony Denaro pump? Chris thinks he's talking about GME. Pond Prowler says Christopher Columbus had 23% of his crew named Juan. He what? Hired his crew in Spain, isn't that right, Pond Prowler? So he had a 3-to-1 ratio. I like it, but bump. Baby says all my kitties love boxes. Yeah, we got a big Amazon box, and I ripped the leaves or whatever you call them, the flaps. I ripped them off and put the box on the kitchen table because he likes to get up there and look out the window watching the deer and stuff go by. Baby says Mullen, Walmart, Cancel Bubble says Slave King Troika. He knows I'm a secret Mullen hack. Yeah. Oh, man. I have now over 1,000 videos, Juan, and I'm pretty sure we've covered over 3,000 tickers. So I think you're smoking crack there, bruh. Unfortunately, a lot of my audience doesn't like to hear about value plays. We put out some banger value play videos. 200 people watch them, and then it goes up 100% with almost no risk. But nobody wants to watch those, Juan. When you get your channel up and running, Juan, make sure and let us know so we can see what tickers you're covering. All right, baby. Let's pull out a cigar. Juan says, I'm flabbergasted that you YouTubers didn't end up in federal prison. Apparently, guys, Juan does not like freedom of speech. I guess he won't be starting his own YouTube channel then, will he? Well, Wellington says, ignore the child. Let's get back to some stocks. Yeah, but it's funny. These kids are funny, Wellington. They don't even know what they're angry about. And again, I'm going to put a fucking t-shirt out that says, bro, you mad? Look in the mirror. These people are angry at themselves when they try and take it out on me. So ASST, we talked about the pre-funded warrants. We talked about the traditional warrants. I would say, you know, if this thing gets well over $2, maybe some of the traditional warrants start getting converted into shares. Probably not here at $1.65, but I'm willing to be wrong. Because I don't know all of the answers, I decided not to enter the trade. And on top of the pre-funded warrants and the traditional warrants, they also have an open ATM, an at-the-money offering. And we know that they want to raise money. So the risk to reward ratio did not meet my criteria to take a trade on ASST. Could it end up going to $2 or $3? Sure. Will the company probably dilute then? Maybe. All I'm going to say is don't forget to take some profits off along the way if you're playing it. Be smart. I saw some of your videos. Hey, speaking of people that believe in free speech, Pond Prowler Adventures does have a YouTube channel. It is quite funny, especially if you're into boating or fishing or comedy. Go check him out. Give him a sub. How many Mexicans does it take to screw in a light bulb? Just one. What other meme stocks are in line to pop this week? That is a great question. How about GameStop? The White House tweeting about GameStop or retweeting GameStop last night. That got people a little wet in the panties. I saw y'all out there in social media. Oh boy, we're going to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody buy, buy, buy. And then the market makers were like, yeah, thank you very much. Old Baron Trump is like, Dad, I shorted at $25. Oh, man. Baron, come on, man. Why? I know Baron's running the White House Twitter. At least he got in there this weekend. Retweeted GameStop, and then he fucking shorted it. Baby, I know you're going to call me crazy, and I know Juan's really going to call me crazy, but I added a little bit of Hycroft today. I definitely don't want y'all follow my trade on Hycroft. I'm entering a little bit of Looney Tune land right here. I'm getting on board with the belief that if the market crashes, silver could be a good fallback. So I had no position in metals. I had no position in Hycroft. But when I saw Eric Sprott and these other people put some money in, I was like, I'm going to, just in case shit, I'm going to buy a little bit. Not anything that, you know, if Hycroft falls back down to $2 or $3, it's not going to hurt my feelings. But I have been slowly adding, and if it drops a little more, I'll add a little more. And the silver that I'm buying, SLV, you know, if this ends up not being the year, will it be an okay trade 5 or 10 years from now? Probably. Probably be okay. Chris says, speaking of Looney Tunes, I got back in Beyond and it feels risky as... Ooh. Yeah. I don't think anybody here is going to disagree with you, Chris. I know that the question of the day is how low can it go? I think I said on Friday, what did I say, guys? Chris, you were here. I said I would feel comfortable re-entering Beyond at about 60 cents. That doesn't mean that it's going to go all the way down there. That's just like if I haven't finished all of my new analysis on the stock yet, but it would need to get down around there before I'd even think about trying to re-enter. Some of y'all are going to find the sweet spot. You're going to find the bottom and it'll get that little short cover and spike and you're going to be fine. But I don't know where that is. That is hard to call. Pond Prowler says the only reason I can still type is because the word warrant has not been used excessively. I guess you missed all of the ASST warrant talk. We talked more about warrants in this video than we have in a month. Pond Prowler. Have I looked at GT as a swing trade? Yeah, let's get a couple of other tickers in here. GT. Goodyear Tire and Rubber. No, I have never looked at this company. Ever. That I recall. It kind of reminds me of looking at Ford. Like if you would have bought that 30 years ago, you'd still be break even. They got a PE ratio of 5. Why doesn't Wall Street like this company? Not chart exchange. No, we don't want that. We want stock analysis. It seems like Goodyear would be one of our a blue chip candidate, right? We don't really have that revenue going up and to the right that we'd like to see. You can see just looking at revenue why the stock is not outperforming. Net income all over the place. You know, when I think of name brands, I would just automatically think Goodyear Tire should be a good company, but this is not the type of blue chip that we're looking for. So then you might ask yourself, well, okay, it's not a blue chip. It's not a core position in a long-term portfolio because it's just too inconsistent. Is there a value trade there? That I can't answer on one live stream because that would take me half a day of work. Maybe. Why don't you, if you have a good sales pitch where you think they're on the cusp of a major turnaround, maybe we'll take some time and look at it. Analysts have price target of $11. I mean, that's encouraging. 60% run over the next 12 months. $10 price target in September. Someone gave $14 in October. That makes me a little more interested. I mean, I'd take a run from 7 to 11 or 7 to 14. All right. I will briefly look at it. 7 to 11. I wouldn't. I mean, 60% is not bad. They're saying that in the next year, earnings are going to go from 69 cents to $1.35. That's not bad. So why is it a redheaded stepchild right now? I don't know. I will add that one to my list to look into. Zachary says, take a look at Naka. Sometimes y'all throw out weird things like Goodyear Tire, and my first look at it is this seems a little crazy, and then we spend a day looking at it and we're like, this actually is pretty good. We found a few like that, so maybe GT will be one of them. Naka looks kind of scary. $34 down to $1. What you talking about, Willis? Did you just throw that out there to give us a shitty ticker? Is GT a meme stock? No. Someone asked about it in the chat. Definitely not a meme stock. I bet we could turn it into one, though. Wonder if Juan would be happy if we started talking about Goodyear Tire. This other YouTuber says he has 500,000 on Naka. Well, what the heck do they do? Naka. It's a $1 stock. Outpatient clinical services. Kindly. I wonder, let me check something. I wonder if they have those in my local area. Kindly MD. Nope. They also have a portfolio of Bitcoin native companies. Oh boy. Kindly MD, Utah Medical Cannabis Card and Medication Management Services. Oh boy. I can see where this is going. Price target, 2 analysts of $5. How old is that price target? $2 is the most recent one, October. We had Matthew give it an $8 price target in September. Both of them initiating coverage with wildly different price targets. $400,000 in quarterly revenue. Going down. Net income going down. Seems like a company I don't invest in. Whoever that YouTuber is, send me a tweet or something. I want to see what is the bull thesis on the turnaround story here. How many cannabis companies have we watched run themselves into the ground? I don't know if this is one, but I'd like to watch a video from someone who really believes in this stock. See what they think. Balance sheet is okay. There, I said something good. Balance sheet is okay. They got a cash flow and net income problem, though. Got a dilution problem. Chris says, I don't tweet. Were you the one that said that a YouTuber is covering it? Yeah, Chris. Can you give us a hint in the chat without saying his name? I don't like embarrassing people. Anya says, please look at Lumen. I know you guys love Lumen in the Discord, Anya. We like that. $1 to $10, back down to $3, and now up to $9. Company does not make a profit yet. So, remind myself what the story is, because I forget. Lumen networking company, integrated products and services, based out of Louisiana. 25,000 employees. Wow. I remember reading about this with you guys a week or two ago. Lumen, Quantum Fiber, CenturyLink, Black Lotus Labs. Analyst forecast price target $5, Anya. 7 analysts with the average price target of $5. That's scary to me. Why is the price going up, Anya? Analysts are forecasting falling revenue, and it looks like they're improving earnings over the next 3 years, but the forecast is still not for a positive earnings. Not super ideal for me, Anya, a setup like this, although I can't argue with the chart. Tell me in the Discord what I'm missing. Lumen has pivoted from a legacy telecom to a purpose-built AI infrastructure provider. Maybe they're just getting that, they're getting that little AI shine right now. Is that why their stock's going up? Is that the one that you and Dink have been buying, Anya, instead of Railtown? Strategic alliance with Palantir. Well, I like that too. 3 days ago. All right. I'm starting to get the picture here. Palantir just plugged into Lumen's network. All right. I'm going to add that one to my list, Anya. List of one day when Tony has time, do enough research to drop a video. Maybe one day Juan will be happy. What Juan doesn't understand, Anya, is we talk about a lot of tickers in the Discord. I just don't make videos about them, because why waste a day of my time putting a video together that 200 people are going to watch? I'd rather just type. We have our little discussion in Discord, and we go on about our day. Rhythmic Ocean says, sold my Beyond at a 50% loss. Is it truly over? Sorry to hear that. Beyond, I don't know if it's over, but they have earnings coming up next week, I think, and a shareholder vote in late November with a couple of very important proposals that could signal more dilution. So I don't really think the shorts are scared here. That's about the most I'm gonna commit to saying. Is the play over? Depends on how the earnings look and how the vote goes. Could you have a little bounce here? Sure, you could have a little bounce here. Do I think it'll bounce back up to $5, $6, $8? Probably not. Do I think these shorts are scared? Almost certainly not. I see people saying this is the next GME. I say those people are smoking crack. Could it have a bounce from $1 to $2? Go down to $1, go up to $2? There's probably going to be a good bounce for somebody with perfectly lucky timing. It probably won't be me, because I'm just not that good on these really crazy volatile stocks that are getting whipsawed all over the place. How do I figure out at what point the shorts decide to cover? Is it $1.80? Is it $1.60? Is it $1.30? Is it $1? Is it 60 cents? Do I want to chase it all the way down to find out? I do not. If you say so, says he sold at a huge gain, was in at $1.16. That's right around the price where I got in, somewhere around there, pre-market Monday morning. Good job. I sold mine a little early. I sold mine Tuesday afternoon. Wish I would have held till Wednesday. Oh, well. Them's the breaks, kids. We don't cry over spilled milk here. We lock in our gains, we celebrate our wins, and we move on to the next trade. Kenneth, if you say so, says reversal trader king guy. Nailed it. I don't know who that is, but we talked about it here on Saturday the 18th, and I just followed my own DD and your guys' social media sentiment over the weekend. Got up, opened my eyes for a few minutes, and pre-market Monday, bought some shares, went back to sleep. It was a risky trade, but it felt like most of the risk had been wrung out and there was a lot more potential reward. It's not like they were going to go bankrupt on Monday, you know? All right. Chris says he's the one that called out Naka. All right. Do I have a pin here? I'm going to make a note to myself in the Discord. I don't have a pen on this damn desk. Who uses pens anymore? Remind self to, I could put it on my phone too. Check into reversal trader king. I should have given myself a title like that. I'm going to rename the channel 1 in a Million. Tony Denaro, 1 in a Million. How do you like that, Palm Prowler? Why is ASST a meme stock? Isn't it like MSTR? Miguel, that is a very good question. And I think you should be asking those questions. And we went through Strive ASST a few minutes ago. It is absolutely like MSTR. And what they have is 700 million of warrants that the big boys, the institutions, they'd like to get those off of their hands into your hands as shares. They'd like to lock in some profits. The company'd like to get some money to go buy more Bitcoin, I think. If the warrants get exercised, some of that's going to be money coming into the company, which they can turn around into Bitcoin. So you're trading dilution for cash. You know, GameStop people seem to think that's fine. So I don't know why we'd hate on ASST for doing the same thing, but that's what's coming up, right? Trading dilution for cash is what's coming up. Why is it being made into a meme stock? Do you kind of see the circular logic I'm trying to lead you into here? They want to raise cash. Why is it being pushed as a meme stock? They want to raise cash, but why is it being pushed as a meme stock? They want to raise cash. I heard you, but why is it being... See where we're going here? And then on top of that, they have an open ATM. Why? They want to raise cash. So, do I think it's being pushed on us? Yes, I think it's being pushed on us. Could there still be a trade there? Sure. Until you get a notice that 500 million warrants were exercised and the float tripled. And they say, by the way, we're starting to sell shares. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm getting really cynical, but then I see other smart people saying this is a setup. And the truth is always somewhere in between the cynics and the hopium. I don't think it's any secret that the company wants to raise money to buy more Bitcoin. So we're not being FUD here. We're not talking bad about them. They got to do what they got to do. You got to raise money somehow. So go get some social media people to say they really believe in it and they're putting their life savings into it. And maybe some people make some money. It's fine. It's fine if you want to trade it. I would just say, like we said on Beyond early in the week, don't be scared. Don't be scared to take some profits off along the way, because you never know. You never know when the other shoe might drop. Easton says, what is your prediction for Beyond tomorrow? If I had to make one, Easton, it would be Beyond will continue to trend down to somewhere around 50 or 60 cents, maybe $1, until it gets to the point where, if there is a point, depending on how many days it takes. Look, I don't know how low it's going to go. Like I said, there will be a point where the shorts decide that's good enough for us. Let's lock in our profits. We can't push it down anymore. There's going to be some buyers come in. And if and when that point is reached, then this thing kind of stops going down and maybe you get a bounce even from the shorts covering. But is that at $1.80, $1.60, $1.10, 65 cents? I'm not smart enough to tell you that. We'll know it when we see it. But I don't like playing falling knife plays. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4 days of the chart going down. So I'm paying attention to the chart. And I sat here all day and watched it. If there was some massive volume spike of buying and it started going up, I might have throw a couple bucks at it, see what happens. Would I do that because I'm trying to get in from $1.80 back to $8? No, I'd be thinking $1.80 to $2, $1.80 to $2.20. That'd be cool. I'm easily pleased. I'm not trying to moonshot a speculative stock like this. Chris says, I'm hearing 130 to 150 is the load up zone. It sure could be, Chris. The lower it gets, the higher the probability of a load up zone. But I'm trying to look here at the chart and see what makes sense. The problem is, Chris, it's so fresh. We got knocked all the way down to 50 cents. Knowing about the dilution, the institutions knocked it down to 50, 60 cents. Let's say in this range, 50 to 70 cents. For me, being fairly risk averse on a crazy stock like this, that is almost like you're down to no risk other than bankruptcy or massive dilution. So if it were to drop down there, would I think about it? Yeah, I'd think about it. I can see why some people are saying $1.30, but man, who knows? With these crazy charts, there's not enough time has gone by based on the recapitalization to say where the real support is. Where do the shorts say enough is enough? Where do people get When does the real capitulation happen that just tanks this thing? I don't know. BB, it's funny you mentioned BlackBerry. As I was kind of mapping out one of my next videos, thinking, I know one says it shouldn't take me all day to make a 10-minute video, but I actually think about what I'm going to say. I don't just turn on a camera and start blabbing nonsense that you guys want to hear. I try and put some thought and research into my videos. So as I was kind of thinking about what exactly do I want to say, how do I say it, how do I convey a message that is both useful and doesn't hurt too many feelings, provide you guys some real value. BlackBerry was one of the stocks that I may mention in that video. I'll probably do that one tomorrow. But it's going to take me more than 10 minutes, Juan, because I try and put a little bit of artistic effort into my videos. I could just turn the phone on and start recording, but I don't like doing that. I like a little bit of production value. And when I get lazy and I don't want to do all that, I do a live stream like tonight. You want live thoughts on the fly? You know, this is your moment. You want something that's a little more thought out, has a little more production value. I actually care about the product I put out. I'm not trying to crank out 10-minute videos a day to get rich off of YouTube like some of these yahoos out there. BBAI, yeah, we kind of like that one. This one keeps on flirting with being on my we're going to cover this next list. I haven't spent enough time with it. I'm going to put, just for now, in case I don't get to it on the video, I'm going to put a reminder and alert around 6:60. I'd like to get a video out on this one, but in case, you know, that might take me a few weeks. In case it doesn't, in case I don't get a video, this will remind me to at least come in and look at it real quick. Right about here. Baby says, was asking about GME's B credit rating. Is it a good thing? That is a good credit rating. Was that a new news today, baby? If it is new, I mean, if there was a report, let me know in the chat and I'll log into the S&P credit rating system and pull up the report. I didn't see that headline. New. All right. I'll do that tonight when we finish up. I'm not going to bed probably for a couple hours. And I don't read every company's credit report, but a few companies I do, like AMC's. There is a lot of good things you can learn from reading a credit report. And if there is, I have never read one on GameStop, but a B rating is good, and there's no reason for it not to be a good rating. They have excellent cash position. Their only debt is convertible debt, which, you know, chances are at some point will get converted to equity. And if not, they got plenty of cash to pay it back. should have a solid credit rating. Not stocking stocks. Good afternoon to you. Good evening. That is the username. And I just shorten it to baby because I get tired of saying baby UFO every time. Wellington, good night. Thank you for joining us. We're not going to be here much longer. You're not going to miss much. Apparently, I've got a credit report to go read. Slave King says, "Do we dare touch the dark horse COSM?" Y'all want to hear the COSM story again? Maybe some of y'all haven't heard it. COSM. 91 cents. Didn't they do a reverse split at some point? Yeah. Gosh, was that was that long ago? December 2022? Feels like it was yesterday. Where the hell is time going? This was the one that, wasn't this the one that the brokers messed up and the price just flew after the reverse split? Was that the one? The story was COSM. Where are they out of? Yeah, Greece. A lot of people say Tony's paid to cover this stock. Tony's paid to cover that stock. He's paid to talk bad about this stock. He's paid to be bearish. I've never been paid by anybody. I wish someone would pay me. I'd take it and I would disclose it as required by regulation. Everything you get here is my unvarnished opinion. Never been paid. However, again, if you're with an institution and you want to pay me, let me know. I will take your payment. It's going to be expensive, and I will disclose it to all of you guys as required by SEC rules. I'm not stupid. But COSM is so far the only company that said, hey, we'd like you to provide some coverage on our stock and name your price, basically. And so I had a phone call with them, let them give me the pitch. And they said, we're not going to tell you what to say, blah, blah, blah. But I looked at the financials and I said, no, I can't do it. Even for name your own price, I can't do it. So I did not. So my record remains intact, never taken a payment. But I have swung traded prior to that reverse split. In fact, I think I was holding stock up until the night they announced that reverse split. And it was like the next day, right? Oh, we're announcing a reverse split and it's tomorrow, which is why it got all mucked up in the system. My immediate reaction was they're going to dilute, so let me just go ahead and dump this thing. And then it got all mucked up in the system and people thought they had $8 stock and it was really 80 cents and they were selling, but they didn't know they were selling it. It was funny times. And then people got all their trades walked back. They thought they were millionaires, but the brokers took the trades back. They bought 200K worth of ETH. I'm not sure what to think about all these companies offering ETH, and now GNS is offering a Bitcoin dividend if you just DRS your shares and hold them for 6 months. Seems like a setup to me. GNS needs to dilute. Of course, they want you to lock up your shares for 6 months. And you're going to get 10 cents on the dollar. I bet your dilution penalty is going to be a lot worse than that. Time will tell. I'm trying to be nice and not say anything, but I'm gonna shake my damn head. Kenneth, that is a good question. Slave King says, I had over 2 million sitting in my account, but I couldn't sell. Yeah, I get it, man. There were a lot of people, half the people couldn't sell with COSM. But am I interested in covering this stock or even looking at it? No. I did my DD, I guess now 3 years ago. Didn't see what I liked, and it looks like I have been correct for the most part. It's fallen all the way down to 28 cents at the low. Kenneth says, this will probably be our final question. What time is it? 10:20. We'll go to about 10:30. He says, what is the timeline AA will add 550 million shares to the float, and when can we see AMC price action? I'm going to say, guys, blame Sean Goodman, not Adam Aaron. I know Adam is the convenient punching bag because he's the one out there putting his name and tweets out there. But I think the CFO is the one running the cash flow analysis. The CFO is the one running the budget. The CFO is the one coming and saying, based on the box office that the studios are giving us over the next 8 quarters, and especially the next 2 quarters, based on the amount of cash we have available to us, and based on our cash burn or cash add, Adam, here's what we need to do, and can we get the board to vote on it? That's what happens, I think. It's Sean Goodman's fault. But do I blame him? No, he's doing his job. His job is to forecast to make sure the company doesn't run out of cash. His secondary job is to repair the balance sheet and improve the credit rating of the company so the company can get out of this horrible interest rate environment that it's stuck with. And they're doing the best they can, but really it's going to require improving box office to save the day. AMC can only do so much until they run out of options. So we really need that better box office in 2026 and 2027. That solves a lot of problems. To your specific question, when will he add 550 million shares? I think, Kenneth, almost right away after the vote. What did the document say, guys? Like 130 million will be allocated towards the exchangeable notes that they already approved in July, but they don't have shares to allocate to them. So somewhere around that, 100, 110, 130, out of the gate, gone. So let's just say they have 425 million to play with. How fast would he use them? I don't know. Are we forecasting any cash burn quarters? If no, let's do a little flow chart. If no, then no dilution for liquidity. If yes, cash flow. If yes, cash burn quarter. Spin up a 50 million share sale. Bring in 200 million bucks. Survive one more quarter. So that's kind of the flow chart for liquidity. If cash burn, sell some shares in an ATM. If no cash burn, do nothing. Hope for increasing box office, increasing profits. What's the flow chart look like down that branch? If we're okay on liquidity. If we're not okay on liquidity, we dilute. If we're okay, no dilute. And we go down the other branch, which is Is box office improving? If yes, are we close to maturity date on any bonds? No. Then maybe don't do anything. If yes, we're approaching bond maturity date, maybe by approaching, I mean 18 months out, then start looking at ways to optimally use shares as currency to swap debt for equity. That's a fancy way of saying burning those shares, Kenneth. Was Kenneth asked the question? So, I mean, at some point, those shares will be used, Kenneth. I would prefer that the box office be good enough that AMC is not repeatedly hit with cash burn quarters. I can't promise you that yet. I'm working on that analysis. I know Kenneth wants me to analyze everything in 10 minutes, but it takes time to do a 2-year quarter-by-quarter box office and cash flow analysis. I know, I should be able to do it in 10 minutes. I'm sorry. When I have that analysis complete, and it's not at the top of my list, it's just something I want to get done before the end of this year. I'm working on it slowly, little by little. When that analysis is ready, I'll put a video out on it. I don't half-ass these things and then tell you we will win. I actually will put some work into it, and then I'll be brutally honest. Maybe we'll win. Maybe we suck again. You know, I don't know. I don't know yet. But that's how Sean Goodman's looking at it, Kenneth. Cash burn or no? And then if no, at what point do we start using shares to fix the balance sheet by trading debt for equity? At some point, probably the majority of those shares will be used before 2029. They have made no secret. This is not them being evil. This is not them hating you, hating retail, helping the shorts. They have been very upfront with you that a strategic priority of AMC is to repair the balance sheet. The balance sheet is still upside down. We have negative working capital and negative shareholders' equity. That means current liabilities is greater than current assets. That is a red flag. That means that total liabilities is greater than total assets. Also a red flag. It has to be fixed. They can keep on pushing it down the road as long as they have shares available. If the shareholders vote against giving them more shares, well, then you've eliminated their ability to fix anything. At which point, if I was Sean Goodman, I'd recommend Chapter 11. Lord knows we don't want to recommend another ape preferred equity debacle. So I know that's a very long-winded answer, but I mean, it's a complicated answer. I know the bears are saying he's going to dilute 550 million shares right away. I don't think so. But I do think they need to use those shares to cover any liquidity gaps. I'm going to go see as many movies as I can to make sure there are no liquidity gaps, but I'm just one YouTuber. And even if there are no liquidity gaps, shares will be used to repair the balance sheet. I know you're not asking for 10 minutes. You seem actually reasonable, Kenneth. And I take a topic like this very seriously. I mean, this is for many people, including myself. If I decide to put money on the line, this is an important thing to understand. I see a lot of people saying on social media, I don't understand why the price is so low. seems like the best buying opportunity of a lifetime. $2.70? Maybe. But what if in the next 3 quarters, there are 2 quarters of $200 million cash burn ahead of us? I'm just saying. We got Q3 and Q1. Q4 is going to be okay. What if we burn cash in 2 of the next 3 quarters? Does 2027 matter? Look over here. That's what some of the YouTubers, look at 2027. Look at this lineup, and don't sleep on this movie. They don't want to talk to you about cash burn right now, which is really the most pressing thing for those of us that really want to protect our capital like a baby. We don't want to lose. We want to be in the most optimal entry possible. There's some things to pay attention to. Kyle says there's more than a few good reasons the stock is only 270. That's what I tell these people. If you're asking why is it at 270 and you can't come up with an answer other than manipulation, then I gotta think you're not listening to the right people. There's always a why, but it does often require that you delve into the area of what we call financial analysis, understanding why the institutions are suppressing the price or pushing it down. My ideal entry on any ticker, whether it's AMC, GameStop, any of them, is to find that sweet moment in between when most of the bad news is baked in, but before the institutions know that the next news is good. I'm still waiting on that moment for AMC. I don't think all the bad news is baked in yet. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I have no position since November of 2024 because of, remember that run up in November of 2024? That is when I sold. Did not get the top. Did not get the top. I exited that as a flat swing trade. Kind of broke my heart that it went up another $1 after that. But I exited in a hurry because my analysis, cash flow analysis, predicted a very upcoming dilution event, and it happened 30 days later. I was right, but I missed the optimal timing. Yeah, can't always be perfect. What is AMC's split adjusted price? I think, Chris, it is 27 cents. Anya says, Tony, I have a serious question. Do you think you would have made more money if you didn't wait so long for the bottom? Which ticker, Anya? I think my biggest way I leave money on the table, Anya, is not with low entries. It is my risk management often makes me exit trades too soon. And it's what we were talking about last week. I need to get better. If I really, really believe in a company, I need to get better at not peeling off 100% of my trade. Oh, I'm up on a blue chip stock 100% in 3 months because we called the bottom correctly and we got a good entry, and then they turned it around. Maybe I should, if I'm up 100% on a blue chip, maybe, Anya, you guys got to remind me, Tony, don't sell it all. Just sell half. Let the rest ride for another 6 months. There's almost every time I could have made more money by being more patient. That is what gets me more than anything else. And it's not a bad problem. It's just like I could optimize my trades by being more patient on my exit sometimes. We always got something we're working on. I got a lot of things that I think we have dialed in pretty good. Don't be emotional. Don't listen to social media. Focus on the financials. Try and think like the CFO. Try and think like institutions. Then you can anticipate the corporate actions. And then when you get a good entry, I always say, take your profits where you're comfortable. I need to let myself get out of the comfort zone a little bit on some of these tickers, not on all of them. Yeah. Anya says gradual release model. Our friend Lou up in New York used to call it brackets. I need to get better at having brackets. Should have had more brackets on SoFi, Anya. Should have had more brackets on Palantir. My exit strategy for avoiding losses is pretty dialed in. I need to get a better exit strategy on allowing for more profits. But yeah, Kyle, it's not the worst problem to have. The worst problem to have, guys, is buying too late and then not selling. Right? Everybody's done that at least once. You get all emotional in a hyped up play. You buy at the top. Then it starts coming down and you start doubting yourself all the way down. I don't have that problem. I will sell something quickly. I don't like losing money. But I could improve my trading by being more patient, selling into the upward momentum. Did I miss out? I see what you're saying. Did I miss out on profitable plays because you wanted the bottom and didn't call it? Yes. Anya, GameStop is a great example. That video we were talking about earlier where I said somewhere, GME, I made a video somewhere here in this 6 months leading up to $9.95. I made a video that said GameStop will go to $10. Just looking at the chart and looking at their revenues and social media sentiment, we were in a downward cycle. Again, I don't hate GameStop. Just using my logic and non-emotional analysis, and we were 100% correct. But Anya, I should have gone in heavy right here. And look, when did I end up buying? I always tell you guys I like to buy when we get a couple of confirmation green candles. This should have been it for me. Instead, what did I do? I waited till frickin' right here. Why didn't I buy here? Why didn't I buy here? Analysis paralysis. This was June 3rd that I bought, so wait. Yeah, I didn't even get, is this right? I didn't even get this May run. I need to go back and look at my trading records, but apparently I have nothing on the screen here. Apparently I missed this whole push up. And then it came back down. I was like, okay, I feel safe here. I bought in June, and then 3 days later I sold for double my money. But I could have 6x'd my money here, Anya. Yeah, you're pointing out a valid question. Sometimes I think it's going to go even lower and I don't buy. That's why now I draw these, and as soon as it is hitting that zone, I try and draw these in advance. If it's hitting that zone, I try and add some shares. I have that zone drawn for GameStop here, and anytime it's below $22, I'm for sure adding shares, unless there's some horrible bad news. And yes, I have added shares recently as we got very close to this zone. But my bigger purchase was back in June 2025, all the way back here. The Vintage Vagabond says you should explain off-exchange volume and why AMC. I have talked about it. To those of you who have asked me on Twitter and in the comments of videos, talked about it several times in the past couple days, but let's go ahead. In fact, I talked about it in the Beyond video on Sunday. Let's go ahead and talk about it one more time for AMC. Off-exchange volume. I don't care about off-exchange volume. I don't care about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. How is focusing on that going to improve my trades? When you can give me that answer, when you have a compelling correlation to paying attention to off-exchange volume can improve my profitability, when you're ready with the math and the convincing argument, I'll have you on the channel and you can do a pitch. What I have found is that it's interesting. I'm not a fan of it. High off exchange. You could call it manipulation. I wouldn't even argue with you. But does paying attention to that improve my trading, my profits? It does not. Therefore, I don't waste time talking about it. There's a million other people talking about it. Why do I want to repeat what everyone else is talking about? I want to be that guy that talks to you about how I'm making money off of AMC on a regular basis. That's what I want to talk about. Oh, you're one of those swing traders. Damn straight. I am now because the company forced me to. They keep running out of shares and running out of cash. I'm not going to hold into that forever. I'm just reading the room. I'm reading the financials. Because I can read the financials, because I can do cash flow and box office forecasting, it doesn't matter to me what the off-exchange volume is. I think the real question is why? Why are they suppressing the price? And if you can't answer that question because you don't understand the upcoming corporate actions and the upcoming quarterly results, then you are probably going to lose money. You're focusing on things that don't matter. You're listening to people who are focusing you on things that don't matter. Hopefully that is clear. I don't like it. I don't like high off exchange volume, but worrying about it does not help me. Why has it been so high? Let's just go with manipulation. Let's say they're hiding all the buy orders in the off exchange so they can put all the sell orders on the lit and keep the price down. I'm perfectly happy with that explanation. Maybe it's true. Why? Why are they doing that? Why aren't they letting the price go up? Because they know what is coming. I'm sure there's other, people that know more about Wall Street, people that actually work there that have a better answer than that. There are people that would say that high retail trading and POF brokers leads to a higher than average dark pool or off exchange volume. But I'm also seeing some weird things with AMC, like the volume is much higher than in general. I have been thinking about it for weeks. Why is the volume so high, knowing what is coming? I know what's coming in the next 60 days. Why is the volume so high? It is not explainable by me. It is a mystery that I'll probably only figure out in retrospect. I've been trying to ask people smarter than me. I've seen the social media theories. I don't know that those are correct, but I'm taking all theories right now. Chris says, if Kramer says sell beyond, maybe it's actually a buy. He did say sell beyond. When did he say? Miguel says, what software are you using? This is just Webull. I don't even know that I have any money in my Webull account at the moment. But I like it for the screen. I like the contrast of the screen and the readability for live streams. Anya says, are bondholders propping up the volume? I mean, it's a reasonable question, Anya. But the amount of trading compared to the amount of bonds seems if you're how many AMC has 4 billion or so in bonds, right? Bonds and debt. I mean, those guys are probably shorting. They know what's coming, and if you're holding debt and you know the company's going to dilute, would you short? It's like this weird thing, like bondholders will tend to short when things are looking bad, yes. But then convertible bondholders should, if they're doing any delta hedging, they should be lightening up their short as the price goes down. I don't know. I keep on I'm trying to ask people smarter than me, and so far no one has come up with a great answer. All I know is I have my risk reward analysis done for the stock, and I am not buying yet. I have no position. We got a couple things we need to get out of the way. Let's see how the Q3 earnings is. Let's see how Q3 cash burn is, and let's see how Q4 shapes up. October is not great, right? Every movie I forecast for October just about has missed my forecast, and I'm not a hopium forecaster. Slave King says, I think the demand zone has increased to 22. Yeah, I have been actually buying above the demand zone. So I agree with you. You can see it has not really gone into the demand zone that I have drawn here. And I have been buying because I agree with you. I should probably adjust this up to better mirror what we're talking about here. Let's go. So I had it probably drawn on a weekly. This should be on the daily somewhere right around. This isn't even right. This should be something like this. I'm going to pull off of this red wick here. Back in August of 2025. We got similar all the way back in June of 2025. We could even extend this all the way over to there. I think I had it drawn that big originally because of that wick, but let's just go with this. It's more clean. We only have 1 point below 22 bucks. Anywhere in here should be good for my risk management. That means, I mean, we had many months here where we traded below 22.50, but what's the lowest? 22. I'm okay with missing it by 50 cents. I'm okay not getting the bottom by 50 cents. I'd rather be adding at 22.50 than miss it completely because I wanted 22. or 2160. You know what I mean? So yeah, good comment. And it actually is in line with what I've been doing, so I'm good with that. So yeah, these are my general zones of where I'd like to buy and sell. And I'm not saying I'm automatically going to sell at 28. I did not sell anything here. I'm just trying to see if, you know, if we start bouncing off of 28, this is my real where I'd like to sell. If there is no news, if we're just talking Roaring Kitty tweets up here in the 30s. But if we start seeing that it keeps on rejecting off of 28, then that's why I'm drawing this. This is early. We only have one touch here. This is not a firm supply zone. In fact, we should probably call it potential new supply zone. Let's find out. We need a couple more touches. I'd like to just blast right through it into the 30s. Soul Seeker says, did you touch on the subject of the massive call options prior to the run-up of Beyond reported by Unusual Whales? This whole thing is being manipulated. Soul Seeker, I want you to watch my manipulation video on Beyond that I put out Sunday. I think you're going to absolutely love it. You want to see me go full tinfoil into a ticker being manipulated? Go watch that video. I think I titled the video, Who Benefits from Manipulating Beyond Meat? Something like that. It's definitely being manipulated. There's definitely, it appears to me, tinfoil hat on, it appears to me there are social media accounts completely ignoring reality. Vintage Vagabond says, I've been buying a lot of warrants just for speculation. I've been buying a few here and there. I wouldn't say a lot, just for fun more than anything else. I don't want to go buy a leap. But if I had a good day, I'd add a few more warrants. Why not? Don't let nobody say I'm a bear. But on GameStop, I mean. On Soul Seeker, yes, I 100% think Beyond was a manipulation foisted upon innocent retail traders. Not only was it manipulated in terms of the price, and they had their whole strategic moves planned out, I think that they doubled down on it with a social media campaign to convince everybody that the float and the short interest were not what they actually were. Just people lying, and they're still doing it. I keep on putting out facts, and man, they're coming at me hard and heavy. But I mean, let's think about it. These bondholders in Beyond Meat lost like $700 billion or more. They took like a 70% haircut on the value of their investment. When they did the recapitalization a couple weeks ago, the bondholders got hosed. And so, of course, would they... it is illegal But would they figure out some way to get their money back? You better bet your britches they will. So I think they had some hand in it. Lie to people, get them to think it's a short squeeze, run the price up, sell your 316 million new shares. Cha-ching, all of a sudden, $700 million loss on the bonds. Wipe that right away. Wash that right out of your hair. And then what do you do when it hits the top? You short it and double your money. Now they went not only from getting their money back for the bath they took on the bonds, they doubled down and made a profit. And they're still making a profit. I think it is reprehensible, the manipulation that got foisted upon Bed Bath & Beyond people. And I think you guys should be coming down like mad hornets on these people that are lying about the float and the short interest. You should... Instead, they get held up like heroes, even though they're still lying, and people want to attack me that called the play perfectly. Oh, well. Anya says, Tony should write a meme book. Maybe I will one day, Anya. Maybe I will. Yeah, 50 cents to $9 was a beautiful squeeze. And they're writing stories on social media today saying, no, but that wasn't it. It's the next GameStop. This could go to $1,000. We got the shorts where we want them. And beyond, they're saying, come on, man. Whatever they're smoking, we need some of it. Chris says, the next time a company trades debt for shares to the bondholders, we all need to be ready. I just think, kind of pivoting off what you said, the next time we see some opportunity like that, Chris, if I see a complete recapitalization, if I see a complete obliteration of the price, and I don't think the company is going bankrupt tomorrow, I will go in heavier with my trade. The whole Beyond thing was a speculative trade for me, so I kept position size small. Knowing what I know now, having lived through that one, I would go in heavier at 50, 60 cents. Those guys were not wrong. Where they were wrong is where everybody is always wrong with the $400,000, $500,000 price targets. You got to leave that nonsense. Check that at the gate. If you go in heavy, you better be getting out quicker, not holding on for these moonshot prices. But that's what I love about. That's why people say, why do you follow these shit tickers? Beyond Meat sucks. Maybe it does. I don't care. It's a learning opportunity for me. And maybe before I die, we see another one. And maybe I help you guys and myself make a lot of money on the next one. I feel like in a lot of ways over the last 4 years, we have really honed the craft here in trading meme stocks. I can just look at like finger motion. They were pumping that last week, but I had just put out a video saying dilution was imminent. And right after I put out my video, the pumpers put out their videos. The stock ran up for one day, and then dilution news happens 1 week after my video saying dilution was coming. I feel like I'm getting pretty good at thinking like these CFOs. If I can pay attention to the company, analyze it, look at their cash flows. I mean, this is not rocket science, right? Anybody with a CFA or an accounting degree, that they're going to say, you're just doing normal stuff, Tony. Okay. Yes, I agree. But in the world of us dumb retail traders, who else is doing this work? Nobody. All they do is to the moon, to the moon, to the moon, everything to the moon. They're not doing the work. We can make money on these tickers. They have wild volatility. Just be able to think like the company and think like institutions. It's okay, Chris, if you didn't make the ideal profits you could have made. It's okay. You made a profit, you lived to fight another day, and you took home a good lesson. It's all right. All right, ladies and gents. It's 11 o'clock. I said we were going to stop at 10:30, so. And we need to go watch some World Series. Let's wrap it up for tonight. And I will be around in Discord mañana. I've got a couple of video topics that I spent the day working on today. So maybe we'll get those filmed and edited tomorrow. And we'll see what's up in the trading world. Let's look real quick at gold and silver because they were going down today. God damn it, man. Gold junior miners down 4%, silver down 4%, SLV down almost 4%, Hycroft down 3%, Bitcoin at 114. There you go. All right. Have a good night, guys. We will see you mañana.
We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground.